Natural selection. Survival of the fittest. Natural selection is the process by which organisms with traits that are better suited to their environment are more likely to survive and reproduce. Over generations, these advantageous traits become more common in the population, leading to adaptation and evolution. Genetic drift. Random change in allele frequencies. Genetic drift is a random process where allele frequencies in a population change due to chance events rather than natural selection. It has a more significant impact in small populations, where random events can lead to the loss or fixation of certain alleles. Mechanisms of natural selection. Natural selection operates through factors such as environmental pressures, predation, competition for resources, and reproductive success. Organisms with advantageous traits are more likely to pass on their genes, increasing the prevalence of those traits in future generations. Mechanisms of genetic drift. Genetic drift occurs due to random sampling events, like natural disasters or the random selection of organisms that reproduce. These events can cause certain alleles to disappear entirely or become more common, regardless of their adaptive value in the environment. Direction of change in natural selection. In natural selection, the direction of change is generally predictable. Beneficial traits that enhance survival and reproduction tend to increase in frequency, shaping the population over time to be better adapted to its environment. Direction of change in genetic drift. Genetic drift leads to random changes in allele frequencies, and its direction is unpredictable. In some cases, a harmful allele might become more common simply due to random chance, not because it provides any advantage to survival. Impact on large populations in natural selection. In large populations, natural selection can be a powerful force for evolutionary change, as there is a greater pool of genetic variation and stronger competition. The traits that provide the best survival advantages will tend to dominate. Impact on small populations in genetic drift. In small populations, genetic drift has a larger effect, as random changes in allele frequencies can have a more significant impact. These populations may experience reduced genetic diversity over time, making them more vulnerable to extinction. Natural selection and genetic advantage. Natural selection favors traits that enhance an organism's fitness, which is its ability to survive and reproduce. In contrast, genetic drift doesn't necessarily favor traits that improve survival but rather those that happen to be passed on by chance. Coexistence in evolutionary processes. Both natural selection and genetic drift contribute to evolutionary change, but in different ways. While natural selection leads to adaptation to the environment, genetic drift adds randomness and can influence genetic diversity, particularly in small populations.